Hey there, my name is Gavin, and welcome to my YouTube channel called The OneMent. I teach oneness on this channel, and I'm so excited to have you here today in what is likely going to be a 6-part series that is titled Leaving the Rat Race by Living the Truth of Who You Really Are, How to Experience Oneness. Okay, and this is part 1. And some of the things I'm going to be talking about today are, um, what the rat race is, what it looks like. It's a commonality I feel like that most people can relate to. Also, what oneness is and how you can experience it, what it looks like to live the truth of who you really are. I'm going to start elaborating on what it looks like to actually live your truth, live from oneness and experience that, why most people really never wake up to who they really are and experience their truth, and then discuss how that's possible. And, my path and how I'm teaching this and, my purpose on this planet to help people experience oneness. And it's something that's near and dear to my heart, obviously, something that have been seeking to experience. And what better way than to teach other people? So let's go ahead and dive in. And, if you're here watching this video right now, I would highly invite you to share it, to possibly get a friend or someone who you can discuss these kind of things to maybe watch this series with you. I love your comments, and I'll reply. But to kind of do this is an experiential journey, is what I've been guided to share with people, and it's easier and helpful to do this with other people, which is why I'm inviting you to do that. And it's no accident you're here, right? If you feel like you've been on a spiritual path and you feel like you just go from book to book, but you don't really ever live it or apply it, or it's like, okay, that feels good, but then your life doesn't really change and you just don't see the application of so many of the concepts that are out there. And I can relate to that. That's been me most of my life. It's, seek and not find, and feel good, like going from like courses to books to all kinds of things that I've gone through that were all part of the process, as they are for you. Yet it always kind of seemed cruel to me, as a word that I use, that I would feel so good, like, oh yes, this is truth, like I resonate with this. And then it was back to like my life where that did not feel like the experience of what I had just read about or what I had just learned about, and I didn't know how to apply it into my life. And I feel like that's my life's purpose. Is I understand the rat race, which I'll explain. I understand that seeking and what feels like something's missing, and that like what fear is like, what lack feels like, that knowing that there's so much more, and it always seems to be elusive, that just like something other people and other like gurus or other enlightened or awakened people, and somehow like it just is always outside of my grasp, and not something I'm able to do. And you're here because you realize, probably at a deep level, that there is like only joy to experience, that you are loved, that we're all connected. And yet most of what you feel like you experience or your eyes see doesn't appear to be that at all, and that can be rather confusing. So I've known for a long time this is my purpose. And what I didn't realize, because I started the OneMent, and I'll tell you more about this in another time, but I started the OneMent over 14, 15 years ago. And my first year or few months of doing it were wonderful, but it wasn't the time. I needed to kind of what's transpired over the last 15 years experience, so I can be sitting in front of you right now. And I'm not here to tell you like, oh, I'm that guru, I'm that awakened, enlightened person. Like, I'm inviting you to be on this path with me, and get to like grow and wake up together. I'm not coming for, at you from like some higher place of having it all figured out. I've been guided. I'm being guided right now with this video and meditations that I've had, that is very clear that I'm supposed to share my story and be this along with people as I go, not from like afterwards, while right now in this moment. Transparency, authenticity, and then relatability, because I think that's the thing that a lot of people, I've struggled with, is like somebody I look up to, or the author, or whoever was teaching. It was like they've already reached the mountaintop, they've already done it, it was easy for them. And this, waking up, experiencing who you really are, it can seem like it's impossible. It can seem really difficult. And at other times, it's like, oh, I'm getting glimpses. Oh, like this is kind of working. Oh, I think it's possible. And then just to kind of be knocked down again. And if you can relate to that, I could absolutely relate to that. The OneMent is that relatability right there for me, that I was like, I'm supposed to do this. And it was great for a few months. And then life was like, you have bills, you have a family. And I quit. I left it because the fear was too much. And I want you to know that's a big part of what I'm going to be teaching you, and what I'm learning is, I've always felt that I had to, was going to be like, oh, an either or, and which scared the crap out of me. Meaning it was either like my family and the things that mattered to me, or I had to go out into a field or in a mountain, and meditate and find myself and leave this life behind. And what I'm guided to share with you and what I'm experiencing is that doesn't have to be the case. That there is a way out of the rat race that is peaceful, that is meaningful, that is without fear, that's gentle, that you can, definitely have faith and believe in and see it. And it's just natural. And it's not this like, oh my gosh, this is so far out of my comfort zone. There'll be times it's like you're facing your fears, you're facing, obstacles that have stopped you in the past. But within your current life circumstance right now, as the way you see it, I am here to tell you this is the path. Where you are right now is perfect, and it's the way out. You don't have to make any drastic move. It's this unfolding of perfection. And a lot of what I'm experiencing is right where I'm at is perfect. And it's actually set up perfectly for me, and is actually the way out is through what's been stopping me. And I'm going to be sharing that with you. So let's get into, what does the rat race look like? Well, society, the world has this idea of what success is, and what the purpose of life and what the meaning of life is. And that looks like, for most people, something like when you're little, your parents start teaching you stuff that they were taught, that their parents taught them, that, it goes down the road. And most people go to some level of school, and they're taught these things that are passed down from generation to generation. And the idea is like, if you get educated, you might end up going to college. And then based on how educated you are by the world, then the next step is to go get a job. And then most people think, okay, that you should get married, and then you have kids, and then you pay bills, and then your kids grow up, and you become a grandparent, and they go to school, and they get jobs, and they have kids, and it just gets passed down. And then like the idea of success is like, how much stuff do you have? What does it look like? What kind of house do you have? What kind of cars do you have? How much money do you have in your bank account? And this is what's taught in the rat race. I mean, this wheel. And guess what? The longer you're on the wheel, the harder it is to get off, because it's kind of like, okay, now I have these bills, I have this family, I have these commitments. And now what? Like, it's like, I didn't know I was signing up for this. And I can, relate to this. Like, I have a absolutely amazing marriage. I, went to, high school, graduated, went to a good college, graduated, got good jobs. And, like you, like most people, if you're here, I would achieve some of those things. Other things I would completely fail at. Yet there was this common missing factor that the things that I achieved, I'd get there and be like, okay, what's next? Like, I expected to feel some kind of wholeness, completion, satisfaction, but it was kind of like, okay, well, what's next? Because I did it. And then vice versa, the things that I failed at, that was, not great either, because it was like, oh, look, you failed. Like, you can't do this. You're not capable. And neither of those sides of the coin of success and failure really had any meaning or purpose. And, I've been realizing this for a long time. And I am currently still in the rat race. I want you to know that. Like, I'm currently, still in the perpetual, job, um, provide for the family and paying the bills. And I used to think, and this is going to be the big thing, I used to think the only way I'm going to get out of it is just to leave it. And guess what? I never left it because felt too scary. That I didn't want to let anybody else down, which is something we'll talk about. And it just didn't feel right. Like, I just felt like I was running away than running towards who I really am. And again, that's why I'm here, because you don't have to run away. The awakening happens here in this exact setting of what we think is the rat race. Okay. So, essentially, there is a belief system that the world teaches you of this is what it looks like to live your life. And you follow what these people say. Other people are smarter than you. You go work for bosses. You're worth a certain amount of money. And there's all these memes that are completely a story. And it's not necessarily true, but without ever thinking about it, we buy into it. And then along the way, every once in a while, we're like, gosh, it just seems like something's missing. It seems like there's some kind of void. There seems like there's got to be more to life than bills and taking vacations a little bit here and there, and working for other people, and making some money, and then to possibly have something happen to you someday, and then just to die, right? Like, really? I mean, that's why don't more people look at that, like, is that really living? Is that who we really are? And I feel like collectively in this world, this dream, which I'll explain, that there's a collective wakening up, and how it looks is like some massive, like, wow, right? Like a pandemic, of wars, of political unrest. There's a long list, right? And that's all purposeful on what we're calling forth of remembering who we really are. Okay. So the first part is understanding what the rat race is. It's kind of buying into an illusion, buying into a story that's not necessarily true, that we've never questioned about who we really are and what's really possible. Okay. Now, explaining oneness. What is oneness? We have bought into this illusion that we're separate, that and this will be a jump for some of you who may not have read spiritual books. I'm a Course in Miracles student. I teach a Course in Miracles. It's what I feel like one of the most helpful things that I've come across to teach me how to live oneness. And one of the things I'm supposed to get out to the world, and it's scary to a lot of people, because when you hear the word illusion, that this is all a dream, that we're not bodies, and that what we think is happening is not really happening, that just like the best way to explain that is how we dream at night. We wake up and we're like, oh, thank God, that was just a dream. Well, just like that, there's no difference from when we wake up from our sleeping at night of what's happening in this world. We can wake up from this world in the exact same way and go, oh my gosh, thank God. It is just a dream, right? That we are love, We are one with God. We are one with each other. There is no separation. Okay. And that's oneness. Yet this world, everything about it is the exact opposite of that. And the reason it's the exact opposite of that is because it needs to make you think that everything that is happening here is real. That the reality is that what our eyes see are the truth. That, when somebody does something, that they did something bad or they did something good, that the judgments of this world are accurate, that if somebody does something bad, they should go to jail, or there needs to be justification for retribution or punishment. And we all buy into it at a deep, deep level, including me. That's one of the ugly things I've had to face is how judgmental, constantly looking at it like, well, I can understand they did that bad. That's what they had that coming to them. Right. And really, when we're judging this world in that way, it's the guilt we feel that we don't know is there, okay, that we feel about the separation, about not being one and not realizing our love. So we like to point fingers out there to make ourselves feel better for that guilt. And this world is an absolute illusion, and from every perspective, that isn't true. And waking up is seeing that and reversing it. Like, I'm going to be teaching you how to reverse that to where you get to witness that. You get to experience miracles, which I'll go through, that then give you more faith, more confidence that what we think our eyes are seeing is not the truth, that the suffering and sacrifice we think that happens in this world is not necessary and that it's not real. And I know right now when I might say that, it might be a trigger like, no, what has happened to me? What happened to this person? What happened to this person? Do not take that away from me. I want to feel bad. I get to feel bad. This is really happening. This is garbage. I understand at first it's going to be a jump for people who aren't on this path yet, who haven't read about this. But stay tuned. Stick around, because the result is that you get to live oneness. You get to experience who you really are. You get to come from love, and that you get to not have anything in this world hurt you, that you don't have to experience any fear. You don't have to feel that you live from sacrifice, that you have to suffer, that there are bad things that happen to you. And when I first heard these concepts, that was a stretch. There was a part of me that was like, yes, that resonates. Yes, I want that. And then the physical 3D world was like, yeah, that's BS, because look at all these boom, 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 all these things thrown to me. And I'll be teaching you about forgiveness, like A Course in Miracles version of forgiveness, which you get to turn it around. You get to reverse cause and effect and start experiencing that what you thought was true is not true. And as you forgive the world and see it differently and change your perception, you will experience miracles, and you'll be like, holy smokes, this is insane. Like, I always saw this person as this way. And as I changed my perception about them, they started treating me differently. They think like my life started changing. When I changed my perception about this event, my life started changing, and like it was miraculous. And you're not in control. We're not in control of the miracle, because like think this world is real, and we think like our bodies are real, and we're like coming from this personal self of like Gavin, like I'm this personal self as Gavin. And so then it's like, I think there's Gavin and there's everything else. And so then my knowledge in this is very limited. And what I'm going to be teaching you, and what I'm guided to be teaching you, that I'm using myself as a vehicle, as a vessel of helping us wake up and remembering myself, is that we have to be open to a new way of thinking and be guided in a new way, because our personal self is always going to want to think we're right, is always going to want to think, no, we have it figured out. And then we get to blame and we get to judge and we get to attack, and then none of it works. And what happens in the rat race is it's this world of goals, of achievement, of success, of accolades, of me, right? Of the story of you personally, of like, look what I've done, look how right I am. And all those are protections to not know the truth about who you really are, and to stay like where you're at, and ultimately to stay in fear so you never wake up. And at some level, hopefully this is resonating with you, because when you are open to the possibility of guidance, open to the possibility that you don't understand what's really going on and that you need some help, then the answers come. Then the possibility comes. And then it seems backwards, but then you get to live it. But otherwise, in a world of free will, which we all have, if you think you have it figured out, if you're not open and you're good with your life, have at it. But if you know there's something more, you know you're part of something, greater than this body, than this personal self, that you understand that you're eternal and that there's infiniteness, and that only love is real, only abundance is real, only joy is real. Yet sometimes you're experiencing fear and the opposite of all those things, you're experiencing lack, then you're in the right place, because there's a way, and there's a way through, and you're how you're living your life right now. And it's exciting. It took me many years to realize this, because I keep repeating the same patterns, same kind of jobs that feel like I'm not going anywhere, that I can never catch up, bills and expenses and debt. That's just like, a burden, and not how life is supposed to be. And like that, it feels like it holds me back and limited. And I look at other people like, oh my gosh, look what they've achieved. Look what they have. And I've realized, by being open to guidance, being open to help, that there's another way. And that's why most people never wake up to who they really are, is because the fear of another possibility, the fear of really understanding and experiencing who they really are, seems scarier than the life they're currently living. And ultimately, it's because they feel like they'd have to sacrifice the self. They'd have to give up something in their world. And for me, what that's looked like, because that's absolutely like, it was my fear that I didn't realize, is like I'd have to give up my family, that I'd have to give up some of the things I like about life, that I would have to become someone that I wasn't sure I could become. Sitting here having this conversation with you, like, it's scary. What are people going to think of me? What if people see this video and like, oh my gosh, they judge me? Who's this guy? How is he saying these things? Who is he to say he's being guided and being led? What will people think of me? I'm a people pleaser. Like, I want to fit in. I want my family to, like me. I want my friends to like me. And what I've realized, the fear of losing people, the fear of losing some of the things I like about this life, has kept me from embarking on the OneMent. I'm embarking on like this video series. Now, there's been a lot of things that have happened lately that I'll share, not on this video, but that, sprinkle through all these series, that are happening to you right now too. And you just have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to be open. This video, this series, this is no accident. Like, you didn't just happen upon this. If you're like this far in this video, 25 minutes in, you're here for a reason. And you know, at some level, you're getting glimpses of who you really are. And you're tired of not living that. And my purpose, out of coming out of the illusion of this world and getting to experience oneness, getting to experience love and the truth of who you really are, is to show people how it's possible to, open up to their truth right where they're at right now. And that, like I said before, the way out is through what we think is stopping us. And when I teach you about forgiveness and when I teach you about miracles, your everyday life is the practice. Right now, right here, right in this moment is all that's happening. There is no past, there is no future. Nothing else matters about except your connection to truth in this very moment. And words can be limiting. Truth, oneness, love, God, very, very similar things. The present moment. And then you bring in words like, people, we're all searching for peace, abundance, love, joy. And the lie that we have been living, that we have been taught, is that it's out there. That job, that the money, that the education, that the university, that the politician, that all of those things are the solution. All of those things are going to bring you the meaning and purpose. And it is BS. And at some time in your life, it's happened to me over and over, you're going to get there and experience like this isn't it. This isn't the fruit. This isn't the meaning. This isn't what I'm looking for. And all the while, it's right here to be experienced. And as we reverse the story, that we don't make the achievements out there, the goals out there, how we get the abundance, the joy, the love, the peace, but that you've learned to come from that. You've learned to give that because that's what you are, and that's the way we prove it to ourselves, is that everything just becomes that. And the story of what we think is happening to us, that we're projecting out from our guilt of thinking that we're not all one and all connected, and that we think this world is real. And so we keep being mad at it, and then it keeps happening. The same thing happens over and over to us. Those things get laid aside. The jobs get laid aside. The lack gets laid aside. And it's a process, though, because right now, where you're at in your life, I'm going to teach you how to experience oneness. I'm going to teach you how to bring the things you think, if you achieve a certain goal, is going to bring you, that you can bring it and live it right now. And that's when the illusion gets dissolved. That's when you start realizing the things you thought had to happen, needed to happen, or the story you believed in that wasn't true. And we get to do it together. So what that's going to mean for you, to close this up, is to wrap up this first part, is you're going to get to experience who you really are consistently, not later, not tomorrow or in 5 years and 10 years, you're going to get glimpses and have seconds and minutes and hours and days where you're like, wow. And you're going to get to be the witness of the changes and the miracles that happen in your life. Your belief is going to increase. Your faith is going to increase. And all the things that all these books have taught you conceptually, you're going to get to experience. And I've known this is what I was supposed to be teaching my whole life. And I've been scared of it. Maybe I wasn't quite ready. Yet everything that on some level that you have gone through, I have gone through. Just within the past few months, I've been terrified financially. I have no idea how I'm going to pay my bills. I have no idea how, like, I'm going to, experience what's possible in my oneness. Yet I'm here because I've had enough faith, enough miracles, enough belief, enough guidance that I've been open to, that I'm following that, teaching it as I go, step by step, right here in the moment. I'll be shown, sharing it with you, and we get to do this together. And you, whether this happens to be years from now, not talking about the future of when I originally did this, or it happens to be within hours or minutes, I'm inviting you to come along on the journey that is called the OneMent. It's a oneness movement. And guess what? Regardless of anything, you are one right now. There's nothing you have to do. There's nothing you have to be. It's an undoing because you are one right now. Yet we feel like that's not happening. We feel like that's, separated, that we're separated. And we're going to be removing the barriers that makes us feel that way. You're going to get to experience unconditional, unbelievable love, radical surrendering. It's going to be fun. It'll be challenging at times. There will be a lot of stuff that we get to go through together. We get to support each other. We get to be companions because there is no you and no me. It's an us. And I'm ready to do this with you. I'm ready to share this with the world. And the OneMent is going again. And this is where I will direct people. I'll be doing many, many videos, but direct people of like, hey, start here. Start in video part 1 of the series of what is the rat race? What is oneness? And the rest of these videos of this series, of the 6-part series, is going to be teaching you what I've learned and what I'm applying to actually get to experience it more and more and more until everything's been laid aside. And that does not necessarily, people think, oh, does that mean I die then? Or does that mean I've given up my whole life? No, that's absolutely not. That means you get to actually enjoy everything and everyone from a completely blissful, blessed, peaceful, secure, never experiencing fear, total love. Everywhere you go, everywhere you are, everything you do, and you lay aside any fear, resentments, judgments about this world, about your life, about who you are, and you get to experience truth, your truth, our truth, oneness. All right. So subscribe. And I will be having a website sometime in the future. If I do, that means there'll be a link below. If not, this is where I'm starting, not recreating the wheel. Join me on this path, this journey together. The OneMent share. Would love for you to share this, like this. Please leave a comment, and look forward to seeing you on the next video. Hit the bell so you get the next video. You get notified for it. And let's do this. All right. It's on the OneMent. Much love, my friends. Bye bye.